Welcome back to Hall of Fame College Football with Jason and the coach. I'm your host, Jason Watkins. He's the coach, Philip Roybal. And if you love college football, you're definitely in the right place. So before you forget, smash that red subscriber button, like our videos, and don't forget to ring the bell so you don't miss one moment of Hall of Fame College Football. What's up, Coach? Welcome back.
What's happening, man? It's great to be back. I feel like I go in spurts.
Hey, it is what it is.
Crazy
The off
life, man.
season. It's
Crazy
the off
life.
season, so it's
Yeah.
got shit. Everybody got shit going on and trying to keep up with everything. They're hitting a ton of stuff going on in college football. I say that, but immediately I'm reminded that there's a shit ton of stuff going on in college football right now.
No. There is. It's non-football. I mean,
It's a lot of non-football bullshit stuff. Yes, correct. And we have varying degrees of give a shit about some of that stuff. So
the non-football, I don't give a shit.
The thing is a lot of it is, though. I mean, you had, I don't know, you probably saw this earlier, Coach Saban on Capitol Hill talking with some Congress members and laying out his druthers, his complaints about college football, where it's headed. I think a lot of us can at least somewhat agree with what he's talking about as far as where it's headed, what started all this. What I don't want to do is completely.
He started all of it.
And there you go. This is my belief, and I'm not a big Saban hater. What I don't want to do is sit here and act like that it's not the fault of the people that have been in charge all these years. What I heard from Coach Saban, and I'll pull up that video here in just a second, and we can kind of go through some of that. But to me, I feel like there's a lot of people that are putting a lot of blame on athletes, putting all the blame on the athletes. None of it goes on to the coaches. None of it goes on to the schools. None of it goes on to the NCAA, which is absolutely ridiculous to me. The athletes aren't the ones that have been making the rules all these years, and they're not the ones that are going into court over all this stuff either. So, in my opinion, this is one of those things that, it's just, to me, it's just a little crazy, man. It's a little crazy that you're getting all these complaints and stuff, but then you're ending up in a situation where it's, again, I feel like this is all the doings of the NCAA and the people that have been in charge for decades that don't now want to split the money with the players. They don't like where this is headed. What is a student athlete? What isn't a student athlete? Blah, 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 blah. Are we going to an NFL model? Who got us here?
Exactly.
Who got us here? This is, it's, I don't know. Coaches never had a problem getting paid. That's right. We know that's the truth. Welcome to the show, Chicken. Mars Jams. Who else we got in here? Stephen G. What's up, guys? Thank you guys all for showing up. As you get into the building, make sure you wipe your feet and check in. Let us know you're in here so we can say hi to you. We're also going to get into tonight, as you can see at the bottom of the screen, top triggermen in college football. I did have a problem with that too. 247 had their top 25. I've got a top 25, but we decided to go with 10. I think it's a lot to try to rate them all. And, it was certainly a lot for me to try to get them all onto one graphic. So, there you go.
Anyway. I screwed mine up, by the way, Jason. I guess I was really wanting Riley Leonard to get in there. So I put him twice.
You did. And I just, you had 12. So I just moved one up. I just moved one up.
Good.
Yeah. And I think Riley Leonard belongs in there. I think most everybody has him somewhere a few of us anyway. I definitely have him in the top 10.
And I tell you, this is and I told you earlier, this is hard for me to do because a lot of it depends on their supporting cast, and there's a lot of things that go into. I mean, hell, you could be a great quarterback and not have a line worth of shit and get you know not have a chance. I mean, there's so many factors, but yeah.
Yeah, you're not wrong. You're not wrong. I think when it all boils down to it, that's kind of what we're talking about. Welcome into the show, Hankster. Couldn't be here without you. You folks in there, hey, everybody who's in there in the comment section, whether you generally chime in or not, I know we've got over 40 people in here. So give me your top 10, top 5, whatever you want to give us. Chicken, give me some. Hank, Mars, all you guys, I know you guys know your quarterbacks too. So let us know what you think as well. We've also got, we'll give you ours at the end, but we've also got your, hold on real quick. Let's see. We'll give you all of ours that are up here at the end of it here.
That ain't no lie, Shotty. Shotty, come on the show, man.
Ask Shedeur Sanders what it's like. Yeah. I think it's still there. And the thing about that offensive line, we're going to see what they look like this year. They picked up a good offensive line coach, and they were busy in the portal. They were busy in recruiting. We'll see how it all comes together for them. But despite that offensive line, Shedeur had a pretty damn good season. Yeah, if you look at it.
If you put a line in front of him, he's going to be tough.
Exactly. That's what I think too. So, that's where I'm kind of at.
Did you see that article the other day? I'm telling you, I had to laugh my ass off. But they were talking about the next dynasty was going to be in Colorado, and come on, guys, let's just win some games, and then at that point we can start talking dynasty. Wow.
Yeah, get a bowl game. Let them get in there, get a bowl game. I mean, this is a situation. I know everybody likes to move the goalposts when it comes to Colorado. You know what I mean? I don't think that. Yeah. I know that we were expecting them to do a little better than they probably did last year, but yeah, I don't think that any of us were calling them national championship material right off the bat.
No.
Not when you went from 1-11. I think that if you're Coach Sanders, you're trying to be better than you were a year ago. Sure. I know that he's going to tell you that they're going for all of it. They want to win the conference championship and get a shot, get into the CFP.
Sure.
I think that's probably a long shot. I think it's really a long shot.
It better be your goal, huh?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, what else would you say as a coach?
If that's not your goal, then you better go someplace else and do something different. Go sell burgers at McDonald's.
Yeah. But I mean, and I would just say that a lot of times, you start thinking about, I listen to what Josh Pate talks about. He's like, everybody hates on Coach Sanders. And I know that's the easy way to go about it. And they kind of bring some of that on themselves with the jibber jabber that they do in the media and some of that other stuff. I mean, you can't really hate on people there, or you can understand why people don't like them. The truth be told, though, is what did you expect out of them year one? If you're saying that because they won 5 games instead of 6, or 5 and whatever it was, that they're just that's not an improvement. I don't really know what to tell you. You know what I mean? It's still an improvement. If you're calling them shitty because of that, yeah, they were crappy before they got there too. I didn't mean to get off on a freaking Colorado tangent here, but
no, but anyway, I mean, it fits into what we're talking about.
Yeah. Hey, Shotty, there's a link in there for him so he can get in here. We got Legend Mike coming into the show right now. Welcome to the show, Legend.
Mike.
What's up,
How you doing, Coach?
Doing great. How are you?
I'm like you, Coach. I don't give a shit.
That's my man right there. I love it.
A level of not giving a shit about a lot of this stuff. Yeah, again, we'll give it a few seconds to kind of talk a little bit about some of these things. I'm in of this agreement, listening to what, Saban was saying on Capitol Hill. It just really kind of blew me away when
Oh God.
I just didn't understand how you figure that. You know what I mean? I don't understand how you figure that we're talking about like they didn't have a huge part of it. And it's easy to sit there and go after the only, and I didn't catch the whole thing. I'm not going to sit here and act like I watched it all. I watched that first little clip that I've seen like on Twitter and stuff. But to me, there's a lot of finger pointing at these athletes, and there's no finger pointing at the NCAA going on. There's no finger pointing at these schools or these conferences or anything else for what ails college football right now. And I was telling Bishop Frank in the Discord earlier that I felt like the O'Bannon stuff started over 10 years ago. That lawsuit that they started that took away college football, the game off of the video game. That's why we're just now getting it back. All that started over 10 years ago. And yet whenever all this stuff came up with the Supreme Court and they just threw NIL out there like it was a fix-all, didn't have any guidelines around it, none of that kind of stuff. They had nothing set in place for what they had to have known was coming. Right. Nothing is set in place. So how in the hell it is, dude, this is an absolutely great comment right here. No fun when the rabbit's got the gun. Absolutely right. But I mean, they could have set guidelines in place. They should have had this shit set a long time ago.
I agree with that.
All these things that, collective bargaining, some of this stuff is going to come down the road anyway. Go ahead, Coach.
And here's the thing, guys. When you start pointing the gun at the players, the athletes, that is so asinine because they've had nothing to do with all this crap at the end of the day. Zero.
The truth.
Other than playing for an institution, making them a lot of damn money.
Shit tons of money.
And granted, I understand a scholarship, it pays for your education. I get that piece. Okay.
Sure.
But at the end of the day, what the money they're paying out or we're paying out to these athletes, student athletes, they were making tenfold on each one of those athletes. So, that's my whole thing. Quit pointing the finger at the athletes because they had nothing to do with all this crap. We created it as administrators, athletic directors, presidents, the whole group. They're the ones that created this crap.
You're not wrong. You're not wrong. And that's the whole thing about it. And this, I'll just play this short little clip here. I'm going to remove this other one real quick, but I'm going to play this short clip that I've got up here on Twitter.
Hey, Jason, before you play, you know what the NCAA stands for, don't you?
Speak.
Never compromise anything, anytime.
That's not wrong. Yeah. He stated kids have a 20% less chance to graduate when they transfer, Charlie says. I wonder if he tells kids to transfer to Alabama because the percentage say you're better off scholastically where you are. Yeah, I wondered about that. I don't know if that's going to be on this particular clip that we've got right here. We can go through some of that, but I think that's a great point. I wondered where the hell that number came from because he didn't sound like he was real sure that was true, But here's this.
So are y'all hearing this?
Are you able to hear this?
No.
Mm-mm.
Okay. All right. Well, damn it. All right, I'll have to find it. I'll take it down for now. We'll just go. Essentially, that was the part where he was talking about, guys. I would have to have pulled that up. I didn't get a chance to pull the whole video. Need some quarters in the machine, but it ain't working. Yeah, thanks, Shotty. Appreciate it. Dick. You can come in here and like talk that smack from inside the show. You know, we do have a there's a link in there for you. So yeah. Let me see. I'm gonna have to see if
Let's hear your damn opinion.
I want to see. I thought I had already
we
pulled.
need Shotty's damn opinion.
We do.
Yeah, no doubt. I'm telling you, I thought I had downloaded it earlier, but I guess I didn't. Okay. Well, we'll find it. I'll find it on YouTube and maybe we can do it there. I don't know. Maybe. Anyway, we don't have to make it about that. I don't really want to get into all this. In fact, it's probably a better video for another time. In any event, what he was talking about in that part was that how Miss Terry had even brought up to him how it's all about money now. That they generally have a breakfast for their recruits where they cook breakfast and do all this kind of stuff, and they invite the parents and have them come in to where even she sits and talks with the parents and talks about how they're going to take care of them at Alabama, and that everything that he's ever made it about in college football is not what college football is anymore. And essentially he's basically saying, I'm just over it. You know, I'm just over it. And that Ms. Terry even said, hey, you know, what are we doing this for anymore? If it's all they're asking about is money, they don't care about, you know, what's going on with their kids. Look, part of caring about what's going on with your kids, particularly some of these kids are not from the same situation as others, as we know.
Mm-hmm.
And money is a big deal. Yeah. And again, why is it wrong for them to get paid for what they're doing when they are bringing your university millions and millions and millions of dollars, now billions of dollars every year?
Well, and I there's nothing wrong with it. There's nothing wrong at all. Now, I will say this, just from a bird's eye view perspective, from the coaching side of the equation. You know, if I'm recruiting you, I don't want you first damn question to be, how much you gonna pay me? You know, look, that can be later in the conversation if I'm even going to really recruit you.
Right.
And that's the only, to me, that's one of the biggest negatives that I see is now the conversation is immediately going to how much you're going to pay me. And now that, you know, I don't want to say this in a bad way, but basically we're kind of creating prostitutes in this process by, you know, who's gonna be the highest bidder, and so that in it, and guys, and I've talked to some of my coaching buddies, even some of the guys that aren't worth a shit. The first question is, how much am I going to get?
Golly,
look, dude. I mean, what do you mean? How much you going to get? Hell, you're going to be lucky to make the damn team, or even get schollied here. But to me, that's one of the negatives. But
a lot of that has to come from coach. A lot of that has to come from other coaching staffs that are doing that. I think that Coach Venables, I know for sure, has made it real clear that that's not going to be what he discusses with players right off the bat. I think the same is true for Kirby Smart. It had been true from what I understood at Ohio State, at Michigan, some of these other big-time programs, that was not going to be the first thing that they talked about.
Right.
Now, as far as Texas and Texas A&M are concerned, I don't know. I think it's a pretty early conversation, right? Maybe a little less at Texas than at Texas A&M. But no matter what, these conversations are happening. These conversations are being started with NIL money. And up until just recently, that was supposedly against the rules to use it as an enticement. We all know that that's bullshit.
Yeah.
Right.
Right. We all know that that's bullshit. And I think that's a great, no, I think that that is an absolutely great comment that Shawty has up here is, does she go back into that living room and apologize to parents when Nick takes another job? No, that's the whole thing. And, you know, scholarships, I mean, look, I understand that too, but I think that a lot of this, what we're seeing, you know, Jenna, I agree with you on some levels that a scholarship is worthy of plenty of what we're talking about. But the truth is, they're making lots of money way over the top of that, right? And as we're seeing with all this realignment, you know, we're talking multi-billion-dollar deals for the SEC and the Big Ten, and you know, there's issues with that too. But I'm going to say, you know, a lot of times you have to look at that and why don't those players deserve some of that money that they're generating? Because they didn't come there to watch Nick Saban coach. They didn't come there to watch Nick Saban coach. They don't fill up those 100,000 seat stadiums to watch him do his thing. And yet the man has probably made what, $100 million just in the last 10 years. He's been over 10 million for 10 years easy.
Yes,
you know?
he has.
And that's just in salary. That's not including everything else that he makes money off of.
Exactly.
So
Yeah, his bonuses and all that.
And right now they're not paying them anything else except for they're not, the NIL is supposed to be for you having endorsements and things like that. We all know that that's being misused. To me, I think that the beauty of all of this, to where it's getting out in the open and it's changing things. Yeah, is it a pain in the ass right now? Yes. But who's at fault? I'm going to go back to what I said to start this. Who is at fault? You know, why was this not pre-planned for when they knew it was coming down the road, man? They've known for a minimum of 10 years that it was coming down the road, and probably longer than that. And yet they put nothing, no guidelines, no infrastructure into place to make this go seamless and smoothly and be lawful so that you could get things back above the table and stop being shady. Because right now, I look at it, the culture in college sports has always been dirty as hell.
It has been.
When it comes to these kind of things, go back to the SMU deal. They gave them the death penalty for paying kids. They gave it to, I mean, they were, you know, flaunting the rules, didn't give a shit. But they basically gave them the death penalty.
I'll go with that. I'll go with that, Jason.
You know? But, and then, like, look at Reggie Bush, lost his Heisman over, you know, his parents getting a house. You know, and I'm not going to sit here and, you know, hell, I don't think that was the right thing to do. If you get away with it, you get away with it. Look at all the shit that Johnny Manziel was doing. Nobody took his Heisman away. God. You know, look at all the stuff there's a lot of stuff that's happened at Oklahoma. There's a lot of stuff that's happened all over the country for years and years and years and years and years. And some guys get caught and some don't. And when it comes to, you know, Alabama and Nick Saban, I think what he really doesn't like is that he had the advantage. He had his system set up to never get caught. Don't tell me you weren't still paying him too. And now his advantage is gone. What he really hates is being able to transfer around. Because used to, he was stacking those guys 4 or 5 deep. And there wasn't shit they could do about it because the SEC had a rule that said, okay, yeah, you can transfer, but you can't transfer to another SEC school and you got to sit out a year, which is not going to help you make any more money, and you know, you're not going to get on the field any sooner. Yeah, had players suspended for selling bowl jerseys. Yeah, think about Terrell Pryor. You know, he gone. You know, he was doing the autograph on Zell, and basically got Ohio State and all kind of Jim fired over the shit.
Yeah.
You know, it's just crazy to me that here's where we are. You could have done this better a long time ago, and yet we're blaming the athletes themselves, and I don't like it. I don't like it. I don't want to sit here and listen to Nick Saban, who made the most and has benefited the most out of the current way of doing things in ball, bitching and complaining about college football. Out of the current, that's just where I'm at with it, guys. I don't know. I mean, let me know.
Right. I've said this several times, Jason, in your chat before I became a podcaster. Right now, this NIL and transfer portal, all it is Dodge City 1889.
There's a lot of truth to that.
Yeah. Look,
we need to bring the Earp brothers and Doc Holliday in here to clean it up.
I'm your Huckleberry.
Look, and it's just it is what it is. And I'm not saying that, look, I understand that he's done good things for his players. I'm not just going to sit here and bash on Nick Saban either. I don't think that he's bad for college football per se. What I'm saying is that you could have used your influence before instead of waiting till after the fact, Nick.
Well, and again, I believe this, and I know lots of people disagree with me, and that's okay. That doesn't hurt my feelings. But Nick's talking out of both sides of his mouth, guys. He's, he had it his way for a long time, and then things turned the other way, and now he's talking out of the other side of his mouth. And that's the part that, because I truly believe, I believe he's one of the best college football coaches ever to coach the game.
No doubt about it.
No doubt about it.
But once again, the way he accomplished it, one of the pieces of that pie that he accomplished it, the way he accomplished things, was because of paying players. And now he's talking out of the other side of the mouth. That, boy, this isn't so good. Well, hell, you did it for a long time, buddy.
Yeah.
Shawty said he's the old man get off my lawn guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
exactly.
I think that in the end he realizes that there's the train is on the tracks now. The train's on the tracks. You're done. We're done. The toothpaste is out of the tube. It's not going back in. And he knew that now there's zero he could do about it. He's always been the coach that adjusted, right? We've talked about offensively, defensively. He's been the guy that will adjust to players and do all that kind of stuff. But now he's the guy that doesn't have to adjust. Let's bring in JJ. Welcome to the show,
JJ.
What's up, my guys? What's going on, man?
What's up, my brother from another mother?
Well, dang, I feel special today. I get on with Coach and JJ.
I'll tell you what, it's a hell of a day, man. It was a busy day. Got the workout in and decided, you know what? It's time for some college football talk. So that's why I had to jump on. Had to see Coach too. I've been missing Coach.
I'm getting my workout in today too.
Yeah, me too. That's why Coach is so big, man. Those biceps, man. I gotta get on that level.
Coach Roy Ball's so tough he shaves with a bullwhip.
You guys are crazy.
Oh shit! I just lost.
We lost him.
We lost him.
It wasn't from me, I don't think.
No, Coach, I'm honored to be on here with you because I've been with you and Jason a long time, and you're one of my favorites, sir.
Well, you're very kind. You're a great one to have with us all the time.
Lost you there for a second there, JJ.
I know. I don't know what the heck happened, but we're back.
All right. Well, welcome in. We were talking about, I know you saw what was going on with Coach Saban up on Capitol Hill today, and his complaints and stuff. And I'll let you kind of, I want you to kind of give I'm glad that you're here because I'd love to hear your take on it. I'm of the opinion, and we're all kind of talking about it, is this is not the right time. And this is not I don't like hearing this from Nick Saban. He's going in there and you're basically turning this all back at the players. When the O'Bannon case was over 10 years ago that started, the Ed O'Bannon case that kind of got us to where we are today. They had plenty of time to put guidelines in place, to put an infrastructure in place to get these NIL correct, and they never did it. And so now you're there, and he's complaining about how Miss Terry had, even Miss Terry saying, what are we doing this for? And, it's like, the problem is paying the kids. He says, I don't have a problem with NIL, but the transfer, no, that's what you have a problem with. All of it is that you no longer have the advantage. I don't know. That's my opinion. What are your thoughts?
So I think it's a little bit of both, and kind of how I look at it is, I've been a double-edged sword on this. Okay. And from both perspectives, I played devil advocate. As a coach, I think that from a coach's perspective, what they're thinking is, coaches, when they first started in the industry, and coach would know, they start with nothing. Okay. They make nothing. It's a tough life. You're working 24/7. You work 7 days a week, 360 days, you name it. They're working. And I understand how hard it is to keep a roster together. And now we have NIL. The first thing guys think about is how much should I get paid? Okay, I understand that. But I understand the player's point of view too. They want to make a buck. And here's the thing, I understand, for the most part, Coach Saban is upset about, hey, now it's an equal playing field. You're able to really go in there and talk about, hey, here's what I can pay you, here's what I can do. But I understand from the coach's perspective, again, that are we really developing players, though? I understand the product on the field looks good, but at the same time, though, I do agree with them. There have been a lot of NFL coaches that said, what, our guys don't look as good. The product on the field in the NFL is not as good. It takes them a lot longer to get caught up because these guys are transferring 2, 3, 4 different times. I'm all about making money. I played college athletics. I'd have loved to make get a free meal. During the NCAA era, hell, I'd have loved to get a free meal. But the reality is, though, there has to be guidelines. I understand why he's doing it, because what they're trying to do is they're trying to make these guys employees in the next couple of years and put restrictions on it, to make it to the point where, is NIL ever going to go away, or collectives? No, there's always going to be backdoor deals. But what they're really looking at is they're kind of putting Nick Saban out there saying, hey, we need someone out there that's vocal, that's a very good in terms of a guy that can bring light onto a situation. Is the time now? I guess during the off season, I understand what he's doing now, but at the same time, though, he did benefit from it. Look, he's been making these deals. Johnny Manziel talked about it. Even with Kevin Sumlin, he was making deals back in the day, $2 million, $3 million. The problem with these coaches right now is that the majority of the coaches don't like it because, one, they're having to rebuild rosters. But in Nick Saban's case, he's unhappy about it because now the playing field's equal. You've got teams coming out of nowhere now that are starting to compete. Missouri, Missouri was never good. Now they're starting to be able to compete.
Still not that damn good. All right, go ahead.
I knew that was coming.
And the thing is now that the equal playing field is, we're starting to get more teams involved, and that's what college football is about. The more people you get involved, the more viewership, the more people love the game. And I think that from a player's perspective, they're getting paid from a viewership and customer standpoint. Your consumers, which is your fans, they're seeing a great product on the field. But at the same time, though, I do agree there has to be some type of restrictions to where players can't leave. The coaches are recruiting players. I talked to enough coaches. They are recruiting players each semester. It's not after every year. It's each semester. And to an extent, college coaching is hard enough. I don't care if it's Division I, Division II, Division III. It's hard enough. Now you're putting in no guardrails for these coaches to be able to say, hey, we got to know who's here and who's not. In the National Football League, there's something called contracts. There are no contracts in college athletics right now. Right. It's just come and go as you please. So to the coaches that are out there, I feel
like this is the NCAA and the coaches and the conferences are responsible for that, JJ. The kids never made a single rule.
Yeah. I mean, but here's the thing, though. I think Nick Saban, what he's doing right now is they're creating legislation because guess what? They're going to leave the NCAA because the NCAA is useless. I think that's the most corrupt organization possibly known to mankind.
No doubt.
They're not doing anything. They're not doing anything for the players. What they need to do is Nick Saban and these guys will get out in front of it. They'll create legislation and they'll break off from the NCAA, but it takes somebody to start it. I just think different coaches different coaches do it for different reasons. Nick Saban retired because he's upset he's losing players and he can't make backdoor deals. But then there's other coaches in other conferences that say, hey, I don't like these, I don't like NIL because guys are asking for millions of dollars, but I don't know who's going to be on my roster in 2 months. You know what I mean? It's different aspects of it. And I like it for the players because the players should be paid. But do I agree with players getting paid $2, $3, $4 million a year? No, they should not be making more money than guys in the National Football League. It's just a fact.
Exactly.
They're not.
Exactly.
The majority of these guys are not going to go pro. You know what I mean?
Well,
I understand the Caleb Williams of the world. If you want to put, even Dylan Gabriel for what he did at Oklahoma last year, I still think that he's still a hell of a quarterback. In my top 10 quarterbacks, I got him number 2. That's how good I think that kid is. Right. I understand the big guys making big money, but Bobby Joe, who's playing, third string left guard or third string running back, asking for $300,000. Sorry, Bob. Hit the market. You'll find out you're not worth nothing.
And JJ, that's exactly what we were talking about a little while ago. Was the fact that number one, Nick Saban talks out of both sides of his mouth.
Yeah.
When he was coaching, it was coming out of this side. Now that he's out, it's coming out of this side. And you already stated why. But, the frustration for college coaches right now with NIL is, you got kids coming in, and the first question that's asked is, how much are you going to pay me?
Exactly.
And that's the issue. And that's where they're going to have to wrap themselves around the NIL, and there needs to be guidelines put into place about what's the max amount of money. I mean, there's several things that need to go into place in the NIL, because I tell you what, and I'm old school. I would have probably, if I'd have been coaching and NIL came along and I had the first question I had out of a kid was, how much are you going to pay me? I might have slapped the shit out of it. I don't want to hear that shit. I really don't want to hear that. And so, but I think if Saban can go against what he did for so many years and talk the legislators into, let's put NIL in a box. These are the rules and regulations. And now we can move forward. NIL can be a really sweet deal all the way around.
It could be,
especially for the players.
Sure.
But we've got to put some guidelines in there, guys. There's got to be rules and regulations to guide that. And then when you talk about the transfer piece, just like you said, JJ, we can't keep sending shit to the NFL.
Yeah.
And let's develop these guys, but we can't develop them if every year they go to a different university.
Yeah.
So let's put parameters on that. You know what? You got a one-time transfer.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. One time, unless the only other thing that could trump that is if you transfer, your coach leaves, then you got an opportunity to take another transfer.
Well, and that's the other part is that none of this stuff is happening whenever, your coach leaves or whatever. They're free to leave and move and do whatever the hell they want to do, but then players aren't. That's where I feel like, yes, there's got to be ways. I think what you have to do is find a way, whether it's collective bargaining all the way around, which I think is around the corner, no matter what you think, it's coming. This whole Dartmouth situation is at the doorstep. Okay. But what that does, really, contracts is good for everybody, in my opinion, because if you can, and even if it's just through NIL, I know that the collective, the Crimson and Cream collective, they're talking a lot about that, where they're going to be able to contract you to the schools in some way that, hey, or there's going to be a buyout at the end of it. I don't have a problem with that. Right. So if somebody's going to buy out your NIL contract, then they're going to have to buy you out of it. Right. Mm-hmm. At least that would kind of slow some of these things down. Right. Because I understand that, you're putting in all this money. There's a lot of money that goes into recruiting that doesn't have anything to do with forking out cash to the player. There's millions. A lot of money. It costs millions of dollars to travel around and recruit these kids. and to bring them in on visits and to do all this other stuff. So I understand that you don't want to just have that run away from you. I get that. You get these good players, you know, whether or not they're ready to go or not, they need to develop a little bit. I get that. But the way that you can do this, to me, the direction that we're headed in is a good direction, because now you're going to see some of these things start going into writing. And there should be some guidelines. Of course there should be guidelines. Yeah. You know, of course. The beauty of it is the more you get it above the table and you pay them the fair amount of what they should be getting paid to be on your football program. No, it shouldn't be an NFL salary. Of course not. You know, but if a kid can't, you know, there's a lot of, you know, as well as I do, that there's a lot of college athletes that don't get that same amount of money that the other guys were getting while it was all under the table. Right. And they can't go out there and have a nice dinner or even just a burger. You know, they can't afford it. They can't afford to buy a car to get them back and forth from school and all this other stuff. There's a lot of guys that just couldn't afford it. Not everybody's a 5-star, you know? So at least in this way, but that doesn't mean they still don't have something to do with your team. In any event, you cannot force them to not have a way to make money the way that they've been doing it. Now, I'm all for locking down on some of these transfers. I don't think that it's the right way to go about it. I think that Saban mentioned that as well, that he was saying, look, a lot of coaches in the league are saying, look, they're not developed to the point that we need them to be developed at by the time they get to us these days.
Yeah, it looks bad. Yeah.
And so, and if you've looked at it, how many people have said how shitty the game is right now in the NFL because guys don't know how to block, or guys don't, you know, you don't, the throwing is
block,
terrible.
Tackle. Yeah. Making reads. Tom Brady did a huge thing about it, talking about it. And
I say
again, and maybe again, you guys can correct me if I'm wrong, but you know, and maybe I'm looking like too much like a coach, but just knowing for so much from behind the scenes.
Now, brother.
Yeah. So much from behind the scenes. But like,
what's up, Pop?
There's a major decision here. There's when you go to a school, you know, these are young men, 17, 18 years old. It's not the National Football League where they're 22, 23 years old. On top of, I understand, getting paid. I'd like to have a salary cap. I'd like to have a collective bargaining agreement or something that says, okay, here's what each school can spend up to this much, the salary cap to that point. I'm good with players getting paid. But what I've tried to tell people is this, you know, this is a major thing too. I love the players. I stick up for the players. Because guess what? The players do not put in 10, 15-hour days studying tape, worrying about what the game plan is going to be. Coaching and coaching professions are a lot different than what the players are. And the coaches don't leave every single year like JT Daniels, who left 5 times and transferred 5 times to 5 different universities. It's a coaching profession. That's why they get paid. Right. You know,
I agree that there's outliers in some of that, but hold on a minute. When you've got class and you've got all this other stuff, these kids are putting in a lot of hours in a day too, right? Are they not?
They are. They're putting in a lot of time.
They are, but they're also, they're being reciprocated with an education, so that if they don't make it to the next level, which we know what the percentages of those guys are.
99%.
And so, you know, they're getting paid that too. I mean, it's not like going to class, they don't get paid for it, because, you know, at the end of the day, if they don't make it to the league, their lifelong profession, they're going to get paid a lot of money down the road. So yeah, I think you got to factor that in too.
Yeah.
Hey,
and
Jason,
go ahead, Mike. Go ahead, Mike.
Can I say something on this also?
Please do.
And I'm going to kind of reflect back to the Caden Green deal. When he went to Missouri, when they get X amount of dollars, to me it sounds like it's benefiting the parent more than it is the athlete. And at what point does that got to stop?
That's a great question.
I think it's a great question. You know, it's the players that are the ones that should be getting paid. But how many? Yeah, I agree. How many backdoor deals where mom and dad are getting a house, mom and dad are getting a car, It's almost like they're trying to live that dream to their mom and dad. And I understand helping your parents. Not everybody comes in the same situation. We all come from different portions of life and society, and that makes a lot of sense, you know. But there has to be, like anybody else, guidelines into something. The NFL, which is a professional league, has contracts. College football, if they want to do this and do it right, they should have contracts. Now, here's the thing with unionizing too. You know, I understand the stuff going on with Dartmouth. I got news for you. When you start getting into a union, you start adding more and more rules. Players need to understand the more rules you add, the stricter it gets.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's almost like anything. Like in the finance industry I'm in, the more regulations, the harder it is. The more regulations you add, the harder it is. And taxes, everything. Capital gains, everything. It's harder. That's why I think just the players. I understand they put a lot of time in with school and whatnot, everything. I've been there, I've been a player. It's a lot of time.
Yeah.
But I'm a firm believer that coaches, when they started, and it doesn't matter, you know, especially D3 level. I've played Division 2 and Division 3. Those guys make nothing. We play for the love of the game. You walk in there and baby, we walk in, we'll go, hey, we're here for free, babe. You know what I mean? There is no TVs. There might be 100 people there. That's about it.
You may not even get a scholarship either, or at least not a full one for sure. I mean, in fact, most of them don't. Anything outside of Division 1, you really don't.
Yeah.
Shawty is in here. Welcome to the show, Shawty. Give us your thoughts, but why aren't you on the camera? What's up?
Oh man, I just wanted to call in. You know, this is a very, passionate subject for me. So I just figured I'd at least call in. I didn't have the opportunity to hop on camera tonight. But how everybody doing?
We doing good.
Doing
Shawty.
good,
Great,
brother.
Shawty. Good to have you on, man.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. So I'm gonna say this real quick, and I'm gonna get off, and I'd love to hear what people have to say after this. So the first thing I'm gonna say is this right here. The next time you guys go into your contract, I want y'all to have y'all contract negotiated like y'all trying to negotiate these contracts for these kids. I want y'all to.
Hey, Shotty, I'm gonna tell you something. I just had a conversation with Jason earlier. That's exactly what's happening with me right now. Is contract negotiations. But I know what you're saying. You know what? It doesn't. That's not a common occurrence.
So, Coach, even with you going through the contract negotiations, to Jason's point, he made a good point. I'm cool. Whatever your NIL evaluation is, if another school want to come in and buy you out, that's fine. You have an opportunity to match it or get bought out. I mean, this whole country has been built off of capitalism.
Absolutely.
But every time it comes to these kids making this money, first of all, you want to go to college to get a better life. Now they have a better opportunity to have a better life and make more money. Who knows what's going to happen in the future? Nobody knows. So let these kids get this money if they can. You got NFL kids. Can I curse on here?
You go ahead.
I guess I won't if I had to ask.
Hell no.
But my point is, you have NFL players that's fucking up money. So don't be talking about these college kids messing up. Everybody mess up money. It's their decision. Y'all trying to get these kids money, then tell them what to do with it. Don't nobody tell y'all do with y'all money when you get your check.
No.
Wait, who's telling anybody that?
I apologize. I'm not speaking directly to you guys. I'm just speaking in general. I'm just having a conversation out loud. I'm sorry I come off like that. So all I'm saying is,
you know what, Shotty? Here's what I like, and this is a conversation that's already going on at Notre Dame. What they're talking about right now is every scholarship player is to get paid. Every scholarship player would get a base salary, basically. And then obviously, you got your quarterbacks, you got your shoddy kind of receivers, and you've got those people that are going to end up making a little bit more money than
performance-based.
Exactly. Very thank you, AJ. Performance-based. And so I really like that model, and not just because Notre Dame's putting it together, but I like that model because now every scholarship kid coming in is going to know, you know what, coming in, I know I'm going to make.
Hey, coach. Once again, now we always listen. Life ain't fair, man.
No.
These kids are only getting what they're worth. So I'm sorry, every scholarship kid might not get no money. I get it. However you want to look at it. I'm just talking about this is the wild, wild west. I know y'all want to put control on it. I know you want to put control on it. All I'm saying is the kid is only getting what the market is providing for him. That's the way of American life in anything. So why are we trying to put control on it? Because what I'm saying is, when you put a control on it, all that is, you're trying to keep more money. Now think about it, guy. This money is not even coming from the schools.
No,
I know that. No, what I'm saying is that in order for it to really get, if we're talking about, you know this as well as I do, and look, you played Division I college football at Georgia, so you know what was going on with some of those guys and what wasn't. But it's always been a level of dirty. What I'm saying is, I'm not saying you go in there and make it to where guys don't make money. I'm saying go in there and make it to where more guys make money, you know, and make it to where it's a fair deal. Now, yeah, the guys that are at the top echelon of the sport are always going to get paid more. You know that.
So, Jace, that's what I'm saying. It's gonna work itself out. Like always, it's gonna work itself out. This is about branding now. This is a new age of life.
Absolutely. But there's also another side of this. There's another side of this that nobody's talking about, and that's the fact that up until this point, they haven't allowed it for decades and decades and decades. And that's what I'm talking about. I don't want to hear about what Coach Saban has to say about it. I don't give a shit that he didn't like it, that he didn't have the advantage anymore. I don't give a shit. Doesn't matter to me. I don't care that you can't stack up 4 and 5 guys deep at every position because you're the coach at Alabama and you win all the time. And you have a way to get those guys money that you need to get money to keep them in the fold. I don't have a problem with any of that kind of shit. The biggest problem that I have is they could have found a way to make this equitable across the board years ago. I'm not for
it. I'm gonna get off y'all call and let y'all go back. But it's never gonna be equitable. Anytime you put the rules in, all you're gonna do is break them. Because you still gonna do what you gotta do to keep the top players if you can. No matter what you put in place, somebody's gonna overdo it under the table. It's just now about you getting caught again and getting suspended again.
Hey, Shotty, I have a question for you, brother. Are you still there?
Yes, sir.
Okay, let's like say said athlete goes to said college, gets his NIL, gets a good market. What y'all's talking about gets good. What happens with that player's stipend check? Does he still receive his stipend?
So that's what a lot of people don't understand is, everybody collective is different. And I can only speak on our collectives. What most people don't understand is you don't get that money up front. Collectives are month to month, meaning you can get cut. You can get cut in the next week. If you're not doing certain things to meet certain parameters, you can lose that stipend right then and there. That's what people don't understand. They get a NIL evaluation mixed up with a one-time check.
Okay, thank you for clarifying that for me, Shotty.
Hey, so Shotty, I got a question for you. So we fired Kirby Smart's ass, okay? And Shotty is now the head coach at the University of Georgia. You have a recruit that, he's borderline for you, and the first thing he comes in and says, Coach Shotty, how much you gonna pay me? Well, what are you gonna say or do?
Well, based off who that player is and what that player can offer, I'm gonna have some monies available to him, and I can give him what I can. I can't give him what I ain't got. That's just how I go.
But
if I really want him, coach, guess what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna go get that money.
Yeah, exactly. But let me ask you this: that's where I'm and again, I'm old school. That's where I'm kind of struggling. If I was a head coach, and the first damn question I hear when I bring you in on a recruiting trip is, How much you gonna pay me? You know, I want to just slap the shit out of you.
Okay, Coach, I get that too. I was being a little facetious when I gave you that answer. I totally get what you're saying. I think in most cases,
at Georgia either, Shawty. You know damn good and well that's not what Kirby's doing at Georgia. He's not sitting there getting into the bidding war.
That's why I said I was being a little facetious when I said that answer. But once again, I don't want to take over the show, man. I'm enjoying the show. I'm gonna get out of here, man. Let y'all get back to it. It's just it's a very passionate subject for me, man. And I appreciate what y'all doing. I'm gonna go back to listening.
I love your passion about it. I'm glad to have your opinion every time. You know, I knew I wanted to have you in on for this very conversation. And look, I don't think that there's anybody on this panel right here that wants to see players not getting paid what they're worth. And look, I think that if we're talking about,
but Jason, listen to what you just said. You said what they're worth. So if you're gonna put a cap on it, you're already not giving them what they're worth. The market says what they're worth.
What are they? I didn't say to cap anything. No. I didn't say to cap anything.
I'll say this though, just to play devil's advocate. Say there's a cap in college football. So should there not be a cap in the NFL?
No, there is a cap. There is a cap in college football. You remember I was telling you, Jason, like every team only has so much money they can give. Now the caps are different for every team. It's not a set cap. But every school has on a certain amount of, think about it. You can't give every 5-star you want $20 million. You just ain't got that amount of money. So certain kids gonna get a little bit of this, certain kids gonna get more of that. So you have a cap. It's just every school cap is different.
Mm-hmm. And that goes back to the rich get richer and the poor get poorer.
There you go. It's the same thing. You literally got to be like, hey, man, I can't sign you. I only got a little money. I got to sign a couple of 3-4 stars. You can't just sign everybody. You ain't got no money.
What's wrong with that?
Huh?
What's wrong with that?
No. I'm just talking about in terms of having a cap. Every school has a cap. I'm just saying it's different. Everybody can't just sign the highest paid players. You got to sprinkle out your cap just like an NFL do with other players just to fill the roster.
Mm-hmm.
So like Cole said, it's really the same thing like it used to be. The rich get richer. It's just the big boy. It's the same thing. It's just now you don't get in trouble.
Exactly.
You're not wrong. That's not, and I think that's what we're saying. I'm not saying to cap anybody's ability to make money. I think there's got to be guidelines into how this goes about. If you want equitable and fair, then first off, I don't know how the hell you get there.
That's saying equitable and fair. It ain't gonna be that. Never. It's never been that.
But that those two words don't even hardly ever fit in any conversation.
That's what I'm saying. Everybody can't get a trophy.
No, that's right. And I think that the ones that can spend the money, I mean, you know, you can say what you want to say, but the brands, the ones that have done what they needed to do to build their brand to a certain point, I understand where they feel that they deserve a bigger cut of the pie or whatever, all that stuff. There's a lot of stuff that we can get into here. In the end, that's not what I was intending, but I'm going to just say this. I have never been on the side of not paying the players. I'm never going to be on the side of not paying the players. I'm never going to be on the side of them not getting a cut of all this money that they generate.
You just want to control it.
I don't want to control shit. I don't want to control shit. What I want to see is, look, you know as well as I do that the real world is the real world. If you can say, okay, if you're going to go into an agreement with the collective and you don't have to hold up your end of it as an athlete because it's a contract. They haven't had contracts or whatever it is. If they want to say, okay, hey, we're going to have a contract with this collective to play at this school or one of these schools, whatever it is, because a lot of collectives are actually doing it for more than one school. So if you are in with this collective and you have signed to do that and you expect them to pay their amount of money to you, what about their investment into you? Do they not deserve to get that part of that back if you decide to leave and break your contract?
I already agree. If you want to get bought out, break the contract. I mean, like anything, there should be consequences for whatever you do.
That's the point I'm trying to make. It should not just be one-sided where it shouldn't be one-sided for the schools and the coaches. It shouldn't be one-sided for the players, period.
But that's really not. It's really not because, in a sense, And matter of fact, I'm gonna ask. I said I won't get off here. Can I ask you this question? My guy from Pitt.
Yeah.
So, would you agree or disagree? Anytime you doing your perform. Okay, you're first brought in with somebody thinks of your potential, right? You're valued off with your potential. We're giving you a scholarship in NIL based off your potential, right? Coming from high school, right?
Yeah.
Even after high school, when I get to your job, I have to perform a service, right?
Yeah.
If I don't perform that service well, can't you terminate me?
Yeah.
Right. So if I'm performing my services good enough, I'm gonna get a certain amount of money, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Exactly.
So,
But here's my question then: But what players do we know of that have gotten NIL and been terminated? What players from which universities have been let go, cut, anything?
yeah, I mean, a lot of them have been let go but it might not. It been for several different reasons. But are you talking about for not performing, not performing to their standard?
Yeah, just not performing.
But my whole point would be is if you don't perform to that standard, that contract is not going to be renegotiated, or you're not going to continue to get what you're getting if you're not performing the service to your duty.
And
I don't know about that.
Exactly.
If you agree on a price, for 4 years, you're going to get that money regardless. You're locked. You're in there.
That's what I keep trying to tell you. Y'all act like evaluation of one check. It's
nobody said that. I work with Pitt's Collective. We raised over $7 million last year. These guys get monthly payments. I know exactly. Believe it or not, I've done stuff with Georgia.
Monthly payments, right?
Yeah, it's monthly payments, and on top of that, it's not just subscribers for Pitt. We're in the top. We're technically right now 5th in the ACC with our $7 million. Heck, that would be on the upper half of the SEC. Yeah. We raise that money not just by people, but by also corporations in Pittsburgh. If I'm
a Pitt player, you're paying me monthly payments, correct?
Yeah. Yeah.
So if I decide to leave at the end of the semester, you're saying you're going to continue to pay me monthly payments even though I don't go to Pitt anymore?
No.
I'm saying you're only giving me money for the services that I ain't providing.
I understand that, but I'm telling you, with a guy that's there, if he comes in and he sucks, he's still going to get that money. But if he leaves, we don't have to pay him.
Well, we're saying the same thing. I mean, he's going to get the initial money because what I'm saying is you're giving him the initial money because it was based off the potential. It's no different than you sign a rookie NFL player. You giving him his first contract based off of his potential.
Yeah.
Right. So that's what I'm saying. So why is it all of a sudden it makes no sense when it like I just walked this down very easily, step for step. That's why I want you to roll with me. That's why I want you to stay with me. So why is it so hard to understand?
Shawnee, and there's not one person here that doesn't believe that those kids should get paid what they are promised.
Yeah, I don't think you understand what we're saying. We're on the same page here.
And we are, and I think when you start talking about performance based, I mean, hell, that's how I pay my employees. It's performance based. I give you a base salary.
Absolutely.
And then you know what? When I hire a new person, they got 90 days. In those 90 days, I'm going to see, number one, are you working out? Are you doing a good job? Do I need to, after 90 days, give you another little bump to make sure you stay? Or after 90 days, my deal is, you know what? I'm going to cut your ass loose because you're contracted
to do that. That's because you have a law that says that you can do that too. That's the other thing. No. And the only thing I think that any of us are saying here, because I want to get off of this subject now. This subject's starting to irritate me. Because the only thing I want to see is that everybody goes by the damn rules. I don't want to hear Nick Saban bitching and complaining about like he did today. I don't. Right. I don't care that he didn't like the way things are in college football anymore. So he took his ball and went home with his millions and millions of dollars. I don't care. What I'm going to say is that the more, if you can find some way to regulate, you get contracts to where everybody knows what's going on. then it's fair and equitable for everybody involved. The players especially. If I don't want it to be where, because I agree, I know what you're talking about, Shawty, that these guys the coach is able to boot your ass off the team at the end of the year and not have to pay you what they said they were going to. I know what you're talking about. The truth is, if you get a contract that's above the table and everybody knows about it, whether it's an NIL-based thing or a salary-based thing, you're going to pay the shit because it was shown there. Now, if the player decides, hey, I don't like Oklahoma, I want to go to Tulane, I want to go here, I want to go wherever the hell it is, and then they're going to need to get that contract bought out just like the coaches would. I don't have a problem with that either. It's a contract. It's a legal document that the money is being invested. However they pay them, whether it's monthly or yearly or however you want to do it, doesn't really matter to me. I just want to see that everybody does it correctly. And the way that they're doing it right now, I don't see that. I think that I'm not blaming kids. I'm blaming the institutions and the NCAA for their lack of ability to do things on the up and up. And they're not helping. They're really hurting the kids instead of helping them. It's not about how much money you give them. It's about what assurances do you have that these kids are actually going to get that money? Because I know for a fact that there's a lot of A&M kids that have not been getting paid what they were promised.
Yeah, that was big.
Mm-hmm.
And I know for a fact that USC, hey, Jordan Addison didn't get near what he was promised to go to USC from Pitt.
Yeah.
About 10%. And the dude led the country again in receptions and yards. To me, if you want to put guidelines in, I want to see them put guidelines in effect to protect the player more than anybody else. We all love our schools. We all want to see them compete.
Yeah. And Jordan's a good kid too. And that was a horrible situation that and people wondered why he wasn't playing why he played only half the Pac-12 championship game, why he missed 4 games that season. He was pissed off he wasn't getting paid.
So I apologize. I didn't know y'all was saying y'all wanted to make sure they just guarantee their money. They getting their money. Yeah. Oh, okay. That would sound different if y'all would just came out and say, "Yeah, I want to make sure that
you were saying that the whole time." Bro.
My bad.
Shotty, you know us. We're going to take a long way around the mountain to get to our point.
Yeah,
I'm tired of this damn conversation. Let's move on to ranking.
I want to say one thing before we leave, Jason. Just one thing. You know what? Coaches better be doing a damn good job of evaluating those kids.
Yep.
Prior to that, that's going to be another very crucial
piece. Coach. Rivals doesn't lie to us. Rivals doesn't lie to us. We just look at stars.
Shit. None of them.
Okay,
come on.
Yeah.
I trust Billy, who's never played ball before. Come on.
Yeah. Anyway, I'm good with fair market. I'm good with all that stuff. I want to see these guys get paid as much as anybody. I've said for a long time, I've been covering college sports for freaking the better part of 20 years, and I know how screwed up it's always been. And there's always been an opportunity to get on top of this. And right now, I feel like the way it is, you can say that they're going to pay you this and pay you that, and that gets out there that, the quarterback that was supposed to be going to Florida, and they offered him $10 million and then decided, we can't pay you.
Hell,
what was his recourse there? Nothing. There was jack shit that he could do about it but leave. And that ain't right. He ended up going to Arizona State instead of an SEC school. He could have been in a better situation. It was too late. They waited until he got to freaking Florida to screw him over on that.
And that's why, I have a lot of questions just about that in general too. Like I understand, hey, it's important to make money. But like let's say for instance, Vanderbilt offers you $800,000, okay, as a recruit. And let's say Georgia said, you know what, we only think you're only worth $500,000. and that kid, let's say the kid goes to Vanderbilt. You know damn well the kid has a better shot at Georgia succeeding going to the NFL than he does at Vanderbilt. There's got to be a comprehensive answer to both. No, each situation's different. Each coaching staff is different, and I understand the money portion is really important on where you're going, and especially too when you're taking care of your families. But there has to be an answer to.
There you go, chicken.
There has to be an answer to say, hey, each individual situation with coaching staffs, each team's different, opportunity to play. If you're going to sit as a third string guy or fourth string guy for 4 years rather than go play for the first 2 years, I just think that it's important to get paid, but you got to realize each situation where you're going to school. You got to make sure you like the guy. For instance, you're around your head coach and your position coach every single day. You got to make sure you love your coaches. Then you figure out, okay, I like the school, I like the coaches, I like the program, I like how they develop players. Now let's talk about money. And then when you do your pros and cons across everything, if you hate the coach and you hate the position coach, but you're getting paid more money, I got news for you. You should probably go to the school that's not paying you as much to make sure you actually get developed. I understand. Again, I understand taking care of your family is important. Trust me, we're in the real world. We sign contracts in the real world, but you got to choose your situations correctly. I've turned down jobs that have offered me more money, but I knew in the long run I'd get fucked by people. I wouldn't work with good people. I wouldn't help get developed. They wouldn't have my best interest. Guess what? It's based off of that's how I am as a relationship guy. I could make $60,000 somewhere else more, but I'd rather be with these guys over here because I know the trajectory of my career goes forward this way instead of staying this way, being stuck on one platform. And then when they truly hate you and they don't like you, and then all of a sudden they stop developing you, they whack you. So it's
JJ, it goes back to that old grassroots rule our mom and daddy told us: money can't buy happiness.
Yeah, I mean, now here's the thing.
I tell you,
I can tell you it can.
All right.
Actually, it depends on where you shop.
y'all sound like some nice people that come from some nice families that just, I'll just say everybody, as I guess y'all don't have 18 and poor or 17 and poor. So I'll leave that there.
I was homeless at 23. So, I mean, I'm just telling you, like, I make these decisions because based off of, I help take care of, my younger brother, especially when I was homeless. I lived in my car. I lived in my car for 3 months. I understand where it comes from different situations, but
that's and this is we're not going to continue going down this road, man. I'm putting a stop to it. This is my damn show. I'm saying I'm done with this.
Bourbon and speed.
Nobody here
for my education.
There is nobody here that believes that these kids should not get paid for what they're worth and what they and in fact get everything that they are being told they're going to get too. Nothing. There's not a person here that's saying that. And I've never once believed at all, period, that players and athletes should not get paid money. I've never thought that. I think there's a lot more to it than just paying these kids. I think that, when it all boils down to it, there's a lot of these programs that do not make any kind of money at all. There's something to that as well. Helping pay for Title IX has got a lot of stuff into this, but I'm not going to stay on this anymore. Bottom line is we have got to make sure that it is fair for everybody. And I want to see that these kids do get paid. I don't want to see the Texas A&Ms of the world and the USCs of the world screwing over athletes like they can now. And this is a problem that the NCAA had and the schools and the conferences. It's not a kid problem. The kids have not made a single rule.
Yeah. It's not their fault. It's not their fault. It's the coaches. It's the NCAA, which again, the NCAA is one of the worst organizations possibly known to mankind.
Period. Done. Plain and simple. That's exactly the side that this show is down on. We come down on the side of screw the NCAA and the way they like to do it. And I don't give a shit about Nick Saban and his crybaby shit. I just don't care. Mm-hmm. I'm sorry. I think he's a great coach, and he benefited off of being able to do things his way on the shady side too. This is a business. This is a sport that has been built on shadiness. Period. All of it has, and it sucks. And I think that's the opportunity they have now is to do the right thing, do it above the table so everybody can see it, and make sure that you protect everybody involved. Period. Plain and simple. That's it.
Transparency.
All right, we're moving on. We are moving on to freaking ranking quarterbacks. Shawty, anything else, man? Aside from that, I don't want to talk about anything but freaking ranking quarterbacks anymore.
Oh no, man. No, it's all good. I just want to tell my boy from P. I hope you ain't take that as no attack. Trust me, it wasn't no personal attack. I apologize if it came off that way.
No, not at all. Not at all.
We're good, man. We believe it. We love you. You know that. We know that.
Shotty, you know you're the dog around here, brother.
Hey, Shotty, I took that shit personally.
I did too, damn it. What's up, AP? Glad to see you in here, man. Hey,
yeah, glad to see Pot in here, man.
Yeah, me too, man. Me too. Thanks for coming in. All right. And Shawty, thank you for coming in, man. We appreciate your point of view on this. I've always appreciated your point of view on this. Yep. I want you to understand that we are on the same side here. We are. All right.
We love Shawty's damn opinion.
Coach I, get in here. We don't have to continue. We're not going to continue with this. Get on in here, Coach I. He was in here a minute ago. Maybe he's not anymore. He didn't want to talk about that other shit. I know. And I
do you have
backup,
Jace, did you get?
Go ahead.
Hey, hey, JJ, I'm glad I told Coach I that I'm glad I got on with Jason. Now I'm glad I got on with you because you've been on here a few times and I always appreciated your opinions, brother.
Trust me. I trust everybody. I love everybody else's opinion. And again, that's why I come on here. Jason's the best. Coach is the best. Shotty's the best. Believe me, especially on the Fanatic Network too. It's the best.
Yeah.
I mean, those guys, and just in general, it's good to work with great people, man. That's why I love it. That's why I love
they're the
here.
reasons I started podcasting.
And guess what, too? I don't know if you guys heard. Did you guys hear about that yet?
What's that?
Jason, did you hear about it or no?
What's up?
While you're here, hit the subscribe button, but also hit the like button while you're at it.
Yeah, we're here yelling and shit. If you guys ain't enjoying this, good Lord. Hey, just wanted to, hey, Bishop Frank, thank you so much for the
Bishop.
The gumbo is fire. It was always fire in here. We're always firing shots at each other's way. We love it. Thank you very much for the super chat.
Hey, Jason, can I say something about Bishop? He has some of the most best gifts on our Discord.
He's the man. Love Bishop Frank, man. Love this Hall of Fame Mafia. If you would like to become a member of the Hall of Fame Mafia, just look right. Let's see. Well, there's a little join button right next to the like button, which you better have hit by now. Please make sure you've wiped your feet. You can join for as low as $2.99 a month. Yeah, guys. Okay, here we go.
But also, don't be a hoe. Share the show. Remember that.
Don't be a hoe. This is one of my favorite sayings of all. I love it. I love it. All right, where are we at on? So I was looking at the top 25 the other day that 247 put out. I'm going to share that screen.
I was going to say, do you have each of our lists, Jason?
I do.
Okay, good. All right, good stuff.
But I want to first of all share what you had from
247, yeah.
From 247, which is somewhere here. Let me find it. Here we go. All right. Yeah, so right off the bat, here's your top 10. We're just going to stick with the top 10 tonight because it just seemed like a lot to get everybody to give me. I do have everybody's top 10 that gave it to me before 10 minutes before showtime. Brinsky Sharp. Yeah, it is what it is.
Son of a bitch.
Brinsky popped it up there like right before showtime, and I'm supposed to get it into. Sorry, bro, I didn't make it. We'll get it on the redo. But number one, according to 247, I don't think there's a ton of differences with this part. I started having an issue later on down the line.
Yeah.
Anything. But Carson Beck, I think that, I don't think that there's anything wrong with either him or Shedeur Sanders being the number one quarterback in the country. Carson obviously has a little bit better offensive line. But he did what he's done, he came out and was one of the leaders pretty much in every category passing the football last year. I think that, coming into this season, he's a leading Heisman candidate for a reason.
Yeah.
I think that that's pretty good ranking there. Shador, I have him actually at number 1 on my list. Instead, but it's Carson Shador just swapped there. Quinn Ewers is the first issue that I have. He's not in my top 10. I'm just going to tell you, he's not. I think that for everything that you've seen out of Quinn Ewers, he's good at times. He's not as reliable as people like to act like he is, and I don't think that he has as good a season this season as a lot of people do. That's just my opinion. You can call it bias if you want, because I will say horns down after saying that. But also Jackson Dart. I think that Jackson Dart is one of the better players in the country. I like Noah Fafita. I think he's a little high up there for being a freshman, and we've seen one, decent season out of him. I think he's definitely a top 10 guy, though. Dylan Gabriel should definitely be in your top 10. Drew Allen, that's what I saw out of Drew last year. Jalen Milroe, I'm on the fence there. He's not in my top 10. Cam Ward, Cam Rising, both are. Tell me what you guys thought about this. I'll start with JJ. Where are you at?
So for number 1, obviously I had Carson Beck number 1. I think he is the best prospect going into this year. His numbers just overall way over 5,000 yards passing just in his early on career. I think he's a hell of a quarterback. I think he's going to be really good again for Georgia this year. Georgia, of course, will be a national title contender, and he's going to help them lead their way along with a strong defense they have there. But I agree with Carson Beck number 1. I got Shador Sanders more down the list. And I'm not going to go through every single one of these guys, but the guys that I don't have in the top 10 that are on this list are Drew Aller and Jalen Milroe. Those are really the 2 guys that I don't have in my top 10. I think Drew Aller, you saw a little bit of positivity early on in the season, but when it came down to good football teams such as Michigan, Ohio State, heck, even Michigan State, he didn't play well. He was nowhere to be seen. He had less than 70 yards passing against Ohio State. Was really suspect for the most part, how I looked at it. I think Dylan Gabriel should be up a little bit higher. I think I had him actually at number 2. I think he's that damn good. I had Shador Sanders, I know, down at 10. But I don't have Drew Aller and Jalen Milroe on here. That's really the only 2 I don't have here. I think I got Noah up maybe one more spot. I do have Quinn Ewers on here. I think Noah's going to be a damn good quarterback too. I like him a lot, especially the numbers he put up. I put Cam Ward on here, and then Cam Rising for his 10th year in college football. I do have him in the top 10. He might get a 20th year of eligibility. We're not sure yet. We're still working on NIL deals for State Farm. We'll see how that looks like. And also, Christian Mingle is looking to sponsor him as well. So we'll work on that and see where he goes from there. But that's really what I have to say about the top 10 there. The only 2 I don't have in there is Drew Aller and Jalen Miller.
Were you being for real or being facetious with those sponsorships?
Oh no, I'm just joking.
Oh, okay.
Shawty, talk about yours. You're up on the screen right now. Tell me what you're thinking with this and what you thought about. You can see right there, the 247 list is right to the left. You got JJ's there, Coach I, and Shawty.
Yeah, I like JJ list. I had made a mistake. I had forgot about Shador. Yeah. I probably would have Shador in the list, but I don't have the guy. Is it Allure from Penn State? Like JJ, I don't have him in there as well. I don't have him on my list. I have Cook from Mizzou on my list as well. Is it Seth Hennigan from Memphis? How you pronounce his last name?
I think that's right. Yeah.
Yeah, it is. It is.
So I like the list that JJ has. I just only have the quarterback from Memphis on my list. That's different. And Shador Sanders.
I screwed up the obviously Cook is a Mizzou guy instead of Ole Miss, sir. But yeah, you've got Jackson Dart at number 5.
Yeah, take the guy from App State off and put Shador on there. I had forgot about Shador Sanders.
Aguilar, you put him in front of Jalen.
Take him off and put Shador in there.
Okay. Yep.
Yeah.
Let's see. Okay. Sounds good. Now, Coach I, not in here still. I don't know if he's.
I'll tell you what, Daniels from Kansas. That's another guy I think that is very much underrated. He got hurt last year. I think he's a hell of a quarterback for what he's done. Obviously, Lance Leipold and that new contract. I think he's a great quarterback to have there at Kansas and what they could potentially do this year in the Big 12. Obviously, no Oklahoma or Texas. I think the Big 12 is wide open. I think
I had him at 11, JJ.
What's that?
I had him at 11.
At 11?
Yeah, and
He's
Jalen
right-
Daniels,
he's
if
right
he
there.
he's got to stay healthy. That's his thing. He's going to have to stay healthy. But if he is healthy, the guy could win the Heisman, you know. And he started off the season 2 years ago. They went 6-0 with him playing, and then they lost some games once he went down. Jalen Daniels is the real deal. It's a matter of whether or not he's going to be able to stay healthy. He puts himself in position to get hurt a lot. But as far as athletes are going, there's not a whole lot of there's not more than a guy or two that are even on his level when it comes to athletic ability in the country, I would think right now.
And also too, I kind of wanted to, I put him on here and I was kind of happy to see, I don't think anybody else had him on here, and just to get everybody else's thoughts. But, you know, Will Howard, for what he was able to do at Kansas State, he's now going to Ohio State. What are your guys' thoughts on him? I think he'll actually do well at Ohio State.
I do. He
I'm not
looks.
buying it. I'm not buying it, JJ.
Nope.
I'm not sure.
I mean, he got better toys to play with.
He does. I don't disagree.
He's in my
with
top
that.
25, but
But-
I think that we've seen him kind of shrink when it comes to certain things while he's been at Kansas State. Now,
and guys,
you know, maybe he's in a
gonna
better
be a little
position.
tougher competition.
Yeah.
True.
Yeah.
He got around him, though. He may not be put in a lot of bad positions in that conference. With everything he got, but who knows?
Yeah, no, I agree with you. I agree with both of you. I think he's got a great opportunity, but I go.
He
back
definitely
to
has
what
a lot of
Jason
better.
said.
He's got a lot of better athletes.
The
And
talent around
Chip
him,
Kelly. Chip Kelly's OC. I just think if he was able to do that at Kansas State, I mean, you know, what's he potentially going to do at a team like Ohio State, where, you know, I guess here this year, you know, we'll see what Michigan looks like. Obviously, I think they're still going to be good. You got Washington and Oregon getting in there. USC and, you know, UCLA. I don't see UCLA doing anything this year. The first year, I think Foster's going to be actually a really good football coach there down the road. He's got to build that back up because Chip Kelly really didn't put him in a good situation there, in my opinion. You know, Eric Bieniemy going there as the OC, I think it was a great hire. But overall, I mean, you know, that was, I mean, and then obviously too, I really think Jackson Dart's gonna be pretty good too. And I got Fafita up there. I know he's young, but I'll tell you what, man, what he did at Arizona, you know, can't be discounted. I just think it's, you know, we'll see what he does, obviously, with the new coach and the Big 12. And I think the Big 12 talent wise and teams wise, there's no major brands in there anymore, obviously, with Texas and Oklahoma gone. But, you know, we'll see what it looks like. And then, of course, Dylan Gabriel. I really do like that kid a lot. I think he was, obviously, you know, the Oklahoma offensive numbers were incredible. I mean, he still did really good. I'd still like to see him stay at Oklahoma, to be honest with you. But I think he'll still do a really good job at Oregon. You know what I mean? That's why I got him up there as that high too. But I'll tell you what, from, you know, Coach I's list too, you know, I do like Stone on there from SMU. I thought that was good.
I like him too.
Yeah. And then Shoddy, I didn't even think about Cook. I like Cook on there. I think that's a hell of an ad. I didn't even think about him. I mean, you look at that list. I mean, I think Cook is right where he needs to be. That's a hell of an ad, to be honest with you.
Yeah, some of these guys I've got more in my back half of mine. We'll go ahead and show the legends real quick as well too.
I got to re-update mine because it was spur of the moment. My number one is Jackson Arnold. Not Jackson Arnold, Carson Beck. And then I'm going to go with DG at Oregon. And then Jackson Dart at Ole Miss. Jason, I threw that when you sent me that text, I just woke up and
you're good.
It was
good. Just it's all good.
I'll tell you what, Wild, you'd having Cam Rising number one. That's a very aggressive number one right there.
You can tell he's a Utah fan for sure.
He is definitely a Utah fan.
Yeah.
But I got go ahead, Jason.
No, I think that you know, I wondered a little bit why you had Jackson up top. I think it's fine to have him in the top 10 if that's where you want him. But I think
no.
Yeah.
Because he's going.
This is your list, brother. You're allowed to have it.
Well, Well, like I said, I threw that together at random, and I was just thinking of quarterbacks off the top of my head. I just woke up out of a nap, but let's see, I got Carson Beck.
Anyway, you can just talk about who they are. The ranking of them doesn't even necessarily matter. Why did you have Quinn Ewers in there versus having somebody else or whatever?
I'm going to take Quinn Ewers out. Like I said, I was just, my mind was groggy. I take Quinn Ewers out and replace him with Jackson Dart of Ole Miss.
Coach I.
And then
what up?
You're not coming
Coach
on the
I in
channel
here?
either, huh?
What up? What up? Nah, we good, dog.
Coach I.
Hello, Coach I.
What's up, fellas?
Then I got I'm after you take Quinn Ewers out and replace him with Jackson Dart, I'm pretty solid on the rest of them with Leonard, Stone, Fafita, Rising, Daniels, and Dylan Gabriel.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. Coach Al, you want to talk about your top
10?
Yeah.
Right. Cam Rising would have been in there. I just don't know what he's gonna be. Yeah, I don't know what the health is. Milroe would be higher. I just don't know how he fits into DeBoer's offense. Like if he was in be honest with you, if he was in like a Gus Malzahn offense, he'd probably be like top 3 or 4 for me because of the athlete that he is. But I got to see it. I almost put Riley Leonard up in there. I just
same. That was the one that was hard to keep out, Coach. I'm with you.
Yeah, it's like Riley Leonard did really good at Duke. I like what he brings. I just I want to see how he's gonna marry into that Notre Dame system. I think people are sleeping on the dude from SMU though, except for looked like Mike Dubb had Preston Stone up in there. Preston Stone's a good quarterback.
That's a hell of an ad too. That's a good
I like
catch.
Preston Stone too. He's in my top. He's in my second. He's in my top 15. He's not in my top 10 necessarily.
Right.
And the same with Jalen Milroe. I like Milroe, but I don't love him in this offense. I'm kind of agree with you that I struggle having him in the top 10 whenever this is a throw it around the yard offense, and I'm not sure that he's going to be the guy to do that.
Right.
Jason, I'll be right back, sir. I'll be right back, sir.
Okay, and then like of course, like we all got Carson Beck, number one. I think what separates Carson Beck from Shedeur is his decision making. Shedeur, even Colorado fans, like he holds the ball a lot, and he's got to get that ball out quicker. I think some of that's on the OC and some of that's on Shedeur. So, but otherwise, I really like him. I think Noah Fafita. Yeah, exactly. I think everybody's list is pretty much, around. I ain't gonna lie, I kind of forgot about Cam Ward at Miami, but also he is in down there with old boy, and he don't really do good with quarterbacks. So I don't know. What's the head coach name down there at Miami?
Mario Cristobal.
Yeah, he kind of shackled Justin when he was at Oregon, and the guy that he came in that he had that was the freshman of the year in the ACC kind of shackled him too. It's like I hate that for Cam Ward. I hope it don't end up like that, but I think that's right.
Yeah, and, Tyler Van Dyke. Yeah, he was good before.
Yeah, he was that dude his freshman year, and then it's like I don't know,
fell off the face of the earth.
Right, Cristobal is just like Cristobal is a run first guy too. So he's like he's that old school pro style, not even a new school pro style kind of coach. So other than that, man, Cook. I think Cook is underrated. I think he got a cast of characters, out there at wide receiver, but I still think he's really good. Drew Aller is one that I really like physical talent wise. They gotta let the dude loose though, man. Like they stop throwing all these 10-yard routes and let that guy throw the ball. So but that's my list. I think you can rearrange them however you kind of want to do.
I think a lot of these, I'm of the belief that I've got Jackson Arnold in my top 10. I don't know why he wasn't in the top 25 even for 247, but I do know why. It's because you hadn't seen much
top 10.
But
that's I don't have any of the new guys. Like I don't have.
And I
like,
understand that. I understand that.
Nico Jackson, Lenore Sellers from South Carolina. Like all of those guys don't have enough film for me to say that they're better than anybody that's in the top 10. Like they could have the potential to be.
Right.
But they haven't shown that they can.
And I think that, I've got Nico at like number 11. I think that from what he showed in the bowl game against the tough defense, he looked really good. All of this we know is up for conjecture. You can say whatever you believe, depending on your offense and what you're going to see from them. But yeah, I think that one of the guys that in my top 25 for sure that was in there that wasn't in the 247 that I thought was crazy is that you got guys like, you've got a young guy like, what's his name? The kid from K-State. I don't believe in the guy. Sorry, I just don't.
Will Howard.
Will Howard, the one that went there.
Will Howard.
Oh, the new guy's
kid.
there.
The new kid, it's his name's on the tip of my tongue, but somebody brought him up in here a few minutes ago. I think Avery Johnson is his name.
Yeah.
He hasn't had enough time in there for me to put him above a guy like Malik Murphy that I saw come in and win games that Texas really needed to win to get to the playoff last year. When Quinn was hurt. And Quinn, one of the reasons that I don't have him in my top 10 is because of the fact that he never stays healthy. And I also believe he's kind of mentally fragile. So to me, that's why I wouldn't have Quinn in my top in that top 10, but he's definitely in the top 15.
So let me ask you about Malik Murphy. I know you of all people, you kind of turned a lot of people on to Malik Murphy and how good he is or can be. But you think that Jackson Arnold is better than Malik Murphy?
I think that Jackson Arnold is, I think he is. I think he's got the same. He's the same kind of size kid. He can run a little better. He's more of a dual guy. A lot of people look at Malik as a dual threat quarterback. He's not. I think his comp is probably, and you hear this from a lot of Texas guys, his best comp is probably like a Byron Leftwich, who we know could not move much, right?
Right.
But could fling it around. I think that Jackson's arm is equally right up there with him, though. I just think that he showed some things. Now, I think it could be kind of a toss up there. I have Malik pretty high up there on my top 20. He's like 12. I've got him at 12.
Okay.
So I think he's right there. Again, Jackson, that's probably a little me projecting him to be one of the better quarterbacks because I think that he's going to come in and be one of the best quarterbacks in the SEC. I do. Because of the fact that I don't see them playing the best defenses in the SEC year one. I just don't. I know that they're going to play LSU's defense. Maybe they're going to be good. I mean, we're not going to get all back into that, but I expect that he's going to have a lot bigger season than a lot of people are expecting out of him, even though it's his first year.
I'll tell you what, too, that Murphy ad in there is pretty good. And I'll let you know how he is because we faced Duke this year and Manny Diaz. I forgot about that. That's a great ad by you, Jason.
Malik is a stud, dude, straight up. And I think the one thing that we did see in multiple games from him, though, which was the other thing is that he didn't take care of the football great. And that was even when they needed him to. No one was. I mean, I think every game he had multiple interceptions in all his starts. So, but he also had multiple touchdowns, and the guy can spin it for real. I think that if you get him in the right situation with the right quarterback coach, and he's going to do well. I mean, to be fair, and I would think that Sark hates losing the guy because but it's pretty clear that he's going to have to start Arch Manning. I think Malik saw that, but I mean, he was handpicked by Sark, so I think that probably, as much as they were able to pay him last year to keep him in the fold, I think that Malik knew, first off, he didn't want to wait another year. And secondly, I think he felt like even if he was waiting another year, is he going to be the starter even the year after that? I think that he was ready to move on and get his opportunity to start now. I can't necessarily blame him.
Yeah. If you've never seen branding and politics come into play in athletics, that was a prime example.
Yes, it was.
Yes.
I think you're absolutely right, Shawty. Absolutely right. Because the dude hasn't shown anybody anything.
And then there's if we go with a sleeper quarterback, the quarterback from West Virginia, Green.
Garrett Green.
Yeah.
Green.
Oh boy, he's pretty good, man. I
Yes.
don't
He's at the
know.
bottom of my list, but I like Garrett Green though.
Yeah, so I think him and like the guy Preston Stone from SMU, they're not gonna have the weapons that all the rest of the guys are gonna have. They may not even have the overall coaching that everybody else has, but I think those dudes get down, man. So
Yeah, Malik Murphy's gonna be working with Jonathan Brewer, who came over to Duke from SMU, and he had time at Miami as well.
That's good.
Yeah,
I think
He's gonna be a good
KU's
offense.
quarterback Jalen Daniels. I think it's all about health. If he stays healthy, he's a top 10 quarterback. He hasn't stayed healthy, so that's the only reason why he didn't make my top 10 was health.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think if he is healthy, he might be one of the top 2 or 3 quarterbacks in the country. You know? No doubt about it. He's that guy. But you got to wait and see. Yeah, love that list. Jay, of course, he had Carson Beck, Cam Ward, Noah Fafita, Shador Sanders, Cam Rising, Dylan Gabriel, Jackson Dart, Jalen Milroe, Jalen Daniels, and Drew Aller. I would ask a lot of guys. Now, I was the one guy I think out of this whole group that picked Shador. I think for just because of what he can do, and he did it all without an offensive line. I would tend to agree with what you said, Coach, about decision making. I don't know that as much of it was. I don't know that I necessarily hated his decision making. I know that his dad wanted to chain him to the back to the pocket. Didn't like him running.
Right.
So I don't know. And you even said it could have been a lot to do with the plays being called and that kind of stuff. But
well, yeah, like I say, Shador is a playmaker, so playmakers are gonna hold the ball a little longer, and that's good sometimes and sometimes not. And when you have an offensive line, that's why I say I give Carson Beck the edge, because if Carson Beck, let's say, he knows that the offensive line, like, in the SEC championship, he was trying to get rid of the ball, a little bit faster than normal because he didn't feel like the right side was going to hold up. Like, you got to do that. Now, some of that's on the OC to call quicker distribution plays.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? But Shador is smart enough to know, hey, man, my offensive line's trash. I can't be running around here like it's Tecmo Bowl trying to make a play. You know what I'm saying? So I think they're right there together. I really like Shador. He definitely showed me something coming to Colorado. I thought he was good coming from Jackson State, but I didn't think he was like elite. But I thought he showed that last year. So
yeah, and preseason champs, JJ has Will Howard in the top 10. The rest of us have seen him quite a bit more. I think he's got a good opportunity there. I don't buy into Will Howard, and we don't know about your other guy. I think Neal looks like he might be a pretty good quarterback, but he got beat out by a lesser quarterback according to everybody around there, and he got hurt in the Mizzou game. So what do we know? Why would we have? Why would any of us have? I mean, him as the top 10? I can understand the Will Howard thing.
I understand. I like Shawty got Aguilar from App State. State he's got good coaching down there.
He said he wanted to move him out for Shador, though.
I was about to. That's what I was just about to say. Shawty, you ain't got Shador in the top 10.
I had forgot about Shador, man, and I was trying to show love to a little bit of everybody. That's why I put the guy in App State. Not that he needed, but he definitely would have been up in there. I just had forgot about Shador and the guy from Kansas.
Right. I'm gonna be honest. I haven't watched a lot of the guy from Memphis, the Hennigan kid. I haven't watched a lot of him, so he's
pretty good. He looks pretty good, man. From everything I've seen from him, he can spin it. He can definitely spin it. I like him, but I don't know that he's necessarily a top 10 guy. But I like it. He can throw it.
I don't know why I'm drawing a blank on the offensive coordinator down there at Memphis, but he does a hell of a job. I mean, I've talked to him a couple times and watched their games. He's a hell of a coordinator. He won't be in the group of 5 very much longer. I mean, that guy is a damn good coordinator.
No Taylor Green. There's Taylor Green love for nobody. Taylor Green came from Boise State. Hey, he's with Levy. I think. Listen, Taylor Green can play, dog. He can play.
Wait, didn't he go to Arkansas?
Arkansas. That's what I meant. That's why I didn't have it. Yeah. It's like the Arkansas, and I know,
That's the problem.
Yeah, I was about to say
25. He's in my top 25 for that very reason that he's there with
he's in that Arkansas offense.
He's in Petrino's offense, but Pittman's still the head coach, so I that's why I left him by myself.
Well,
Yeah, I mean,
He's
I
gifted.
like Pittman, but man, Petrino, man, he was down there at Texas A&M too, and it just, again, that's a lot of Jimbo and what's going on down there.
yeah,
But
he didn't call shit. He wasn't calling plays down there.
But like started to say, that's the reason. Being at Arkansas, I think that's why everybody left Taylor Green off the list. Now I am surprised to see DJU in the list. I like DJU, but
I like
top
DJU,
10?
man. And I think, look, I think that, yeah, I mean, it may be a little bit of, I don't know, man. He had one of the better seasons in the country last year. He was one of the top quarterbacks in the Pac-12 last year.
Hey, Jason,
Pac-12 pretty deep. That is saying a lot, Jason.
They were out there in that. Everybody's talked about that conference and all the quarterbacking that was done in that conference. He had better stats than anybody except for Nix or obviously
Shedeur and Cam Ward.
Cam Ward's he dropped off the map at the end of the year.
Okay.
He was good. He was good for the first 5 or 6 games, but his numbers and what they did in there, obviously a different kind of offense too. They run more of a pro style thing, but we saw things out of him. His completions were good. He was running the thing. I mean, look, I think a lot higher of DJU than a lot of people do, though. I
think DJU played better last year than he did the previous year. I just don't know about top 10. I feel like all the guys in these top 10s can go for obscene amounts of stats. I'm not saying he can't. I just hadn't seen any of that from him other than the 2 games his freshman year.
Now, talking about NFL projections, that's a different story.
Yeah. Now NFL projections is a different story. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, JJ.
And I think that may have been part of why I think NFL projection wise, I think that he's got the size, he's got the arm.
Right. They look at stuff a little different than being a top. Just because you're not a top 10 quarterback in college doesn't mean they don't look at you that way.
Oh, I know that. Yeah,
because we all watched the dude from Florida get drafted in the top 10. So.
Yes, we did. and we're hearing him talking a lot about your boy at Tennessee too, Milton.
Right. Now that's gonna be an experiment going wrong. I can tell you, I don't care what they do. That's
a weird deal to me, man, that they're talking about him because he could throw it 60 yards. And what does Shawty always say?
Better hold your cup tight.
Yeah, hold your glass, man. It's coming out the hands in the stands.
Listen, man.
So,
hey, Jason.
Yeah.
Jason, JJ was wondering who the OC for Memphis was. It's Tim Cramsey.
Yeah, Cramsey. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Hell of an OC. I like him a lot.
I like him too. I like him too. I think that Memphis is one of those. Well, they're that next team out of the AAC that's just waiting to get out. You know what I mean? That's probably that next program that's trying to get into a Power 4 situation. But of course, I don't know that it's going to happen at this point. But that's a different story for a different thing. Okay. The other one I felt like we could probably talk about a little bit. Dillon Gabriel. What's he going to do at Oregon? What do you guys think about what he's going to do at Oregon?
I think he is a similar version of Bo Nix, just not as athletic. He can run, but he can't run like Bo Nix. But I think he can throw a little bit better than Bo Nix. Accuracy wise, Bo Nix has a stronger arm though.
Yeah.
So I think they do a good job though tailoring the offense to the guy. They
do.
They tailored the offense to Bo Nix, and it showed.
Their coordinator's pretty solid like that. I like him a lot.
Is there going to be a quarterback battle up there?
No.
Between him and Dante, I don't think so. I think that Dante knew that he was going to have to sit.
I didn't think there was either.
I like Dante though.
I like Dante too. You want to talk about? That's the guy in coaching. We both saw him as a high school kid play. He's got real arm talent. I mean, throw a guy open talent. It's not just big arm. He's accurate. I think he made some throws that he thought or that he used to get away with in high school, which is what I kind of felt like Jackson did in the bowl game. But you saw Dante get a little bit more time at UCLA, and there was times that he was trying to force in throws that he was able to get away with when he was in high school, and he just didn't do it.
Right. I agree with Chicken. He said that Gabriel's more cerebral than Bo. I definitely agree with that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think that Dylan has a chance to win the Heisman. He definitely does.
Yeah,
Well, I
Will
mean-
Stein, yeah, they're the
And the
offensive coordinator
offensive
at
system.
Oregon, man. He's a good coordinator he came
Right.
from UTSA. I mean, he was a smaller guy. I mean, but his numbers, I mean, he was averaging over 40 points a game everywhere he's been.
I
And
will
again,
say
he
this
did really good
though.
last year.
Yeah, I will say this though. He's playing in the Big Ten this year, not the Pac-12 defenses. So
That's true.
right.
We'll see.
Well, but I think
they play a
The
little
only
bit more defense in Big Ten.
they do
though.
play more defense, but they also don't see as many of those high flying type offenses either.
I was going to say, there's no offenses in the. I mean, when you have Iowa that's scoring a touchdown and a half a game, and they make it to the Big Ten championship, that's a problem.
I mean, Ohio State and Ohio State's really the only one that's been like a high flyer type of offense. In
Yeah,
that,
Michigan's that
I would
old
say
school.
I would
when
say
it gets
Maryland,
cold
but
though,
Maryland
it slows those
just
kind of
didn't have.
schools down, doesn't it? Doesn't the cold slow some of those guys down though, Coach?
I think so, but I think Maryland had a high flying offense. They just didn't have the talent that like Ohio State had or something like that. So,
Yeah.
but Tagovailoa's not there anymore. I don't think. Didn't he? hit
He's
the
not.
portal?
He's
Yeah,
not.
he's not.
The NCAA did not give him a final year, another year.
Okay. There we go.
Nelio, thank you for the super chat, sir. Good Tuesday evening, everyone. Hope you're all doing great. We hope you are as well. Thank you for the super chat as always, Neil. Yeah. Let's see. I like some moss over a guy like Rising. Dude has been beat up and an unknown now.
Like if Rising's 100%, he's a top 10 quarterback. But if we don't know I don't know if he's gonna be 100%. So that's the only.
Who's that?
Cam Rising. I really like Cam Rising, but
his moxie, his gameplay is.
Yeah.
I love me some Cam Rising, but the truth is he going to be able to come back from that because that knee was torn apart.
I'm not mad at that. The top 10. I think everybody's good. Like I say, I just like for Arnold, I just don't have enough film for him. That's all.
I got you. What about Riley Leonard? Coach, talk to us about Riley Leonard.
I like Riley.
Again, another kid that was injured last year. I think the year before he had a great season. He's obviously a dual threat kind of guy. It'll be interesting to see how he performs in this new offense with Denbrock. I think
Hell of a hire, by the way.
I think it was a hell of a hire, and I think it will be. I think it's going to definitely be a plus for Riley Leonard. So if he can run like he did 2 years ago, and still throw the ball a little bit, I think he's going to definitely be a threat.
He's pretty sharp, Coach.
I was going to say, I agree. I think, Duke was in the top 20 for the majority of the season until he got hurt. I mean, he really carried Duke into that top 20. And, the game against Florida State, if he plays the full game, that was a tight game for how long. I thought he did a great job. I think he's got great footwork. I think he's really fast, good agility, strong arm. If anything, I like him more than Sam Hartman. And I think Denbrock, Gerard Parker going to Tulsa was a blessing for Notre Dame. I think Denbrock is a hell of a hire. Never in a million years will I have thought he left LSU. If anything, that's a great hire for Notre Dame. And overall, I've said it for a while. I like I'm drawing a blank on Marcus Freeman. I like Marcus Freeman a lot. He's a great coach. Give him time. I think he's going to be there for a long time. And I think Denbrock's a great hire. Get that offense rolling. It's a whole different game.
Well, Notre Dame has a doable schedule this year too, so this is an opportunity for them to really kind of take a step forward, and get that 10, 11 wins for sure. You know what I mean?
Well, and I'll tell you this, guys. I mean, since we're talking quarterbacks, that quarterback room right now is compared to what it used to be before. That quarterback room is pretty loaded. So we'll kind of see how that plays out.
Coach, what do you think of Riley Leonard?
I like Riley Leonard. He just, like I say, when I'm looking at the 10 that I had, I feel like they're ahead of him simply because, like I say, he got hurt again. Health. He's another one. Like I say, Leonard, Rising, Daniels from Kansas, all health related. We don't know what's going on, and he's going to Notre Dame. I need to know. How he's gonna fit in that system up there. So, but I think he has the potential. I liked him when he was healthy at Duke. It was obvious that he was carrying the team. So whether it was 2 years ago or last year, so I think he's a good quarterback. Again, got to stay healthy though. Best ability is availability. So
Yep. Ain't that the truth? Ain't that the
No
damn
doubt.
truth?
No doubt about it. There's no doubt about that for sure. Yeah. Okay. Who else? I was a couple guys I was looking at. We talked about most of these guys. Let me look at
When you
so
when you
Jason,
look at
you
this,
didn't have Milroe on yours. Is it because of the DeBoer Milroe? You know,
absolutely, and he's right in there. He's like around. I think I had him at 13 or something like that. It's just because I don't even know if he's going to start. From what you're hearing about the first couple of days is that the guy that they brought in with them from Washington is firing it all over the field. Looks like he's the guy as far as throwing the football is concerned. We know that Jalen can throw it, right? We know he can throw it, but accuracy wise, we're not talking about Michael Penix here. And
right.
Is he going to be able to develop quickly enough for them to, because I don't know that you have a ton of time if you're look, Kalen DeBoer put himself in a situation where 9-3 is not going to make anybody happy. And I don't know that they're going to be better than 9-3 necessarily in year one under him, but you damn sure you're going to be on the hot seat immediately at 9-3.
Yeah.
But he's slated to start now, right?
I think so.
I mean, he's
as of now
the starter right now, but I mean he was the starter last year, but they've had 2 days of practice. I mean, we don't really know what it's going to end up like. And what we do know is that we've seen him miss a lot of passes. And when at the first part of the year when they were really struggling, it's because they weren't letting him be a running quarterback, right? I look at Jalen Milroe as probably one of the best athletes in the country. I just don't think he's a passer.
Well, yeah. Now
he's a very good passer.
According to some Alabama people that I follow on Twitter, and they show videos, he's been working on his throwing motion. So maybe that's what DeBoer is trying to bring. Like I say, I think his athletic ability and what we've seen as a playmaker, you know what I'm saying, not necessarily just a quarterback, but just at the position, he's going to have it every snap if he starts, which I think he will. I don't know if that other guy may be better at throwing, but he does know a lot of these defenses that they're going to be going against.
That's true too. I'll give you that. And my thought is if DeBoer is really as good as we think he is,
right?
Then he should be able to cater his offense to work for his quarterback. That's a better player. If he's a better all around athlete that you should be able to win with, right?
So yeah,
he ought to be better than Tommy Reese at it for sure.
Right, and then yeah,
he gets older, he can win the SEC championship.
Right, that's one thing he did show. Like I say, and then when you say say best quarterbacks, of course, it's not always just about throwing the ball. That's what I'm saying.
It's not.
So, like to Shawty's point, he was good enough to win the SEC. So
he was.
That was a massive turnaround too. I can tell you that because
the first couple of games,
I watched that Alabama versus USF game, and it was 10-10 at halftime. I thought I was watching paint dry. I couldn't believe what the hell I was watching. I mean, it was bad. I mean,
but that took Nick Saban stepping in there and saying, "Run the freaking football."
Right.
I think that too, but I mean, did I like the Tommy Reese hire? Not exactly. I thought that was a little underwhelming hire, to be honest with you. Obviously, Kalen DeBoer is a much better offensive mind. I think he's going to do a lot better. And obviously, I liked his hires on defense. I think he upgraded it with a lot of his defensive staff as well. So we'll see what that looks like. But but then again, Tommy Reese to a point, if you really want to look at it, look at that last play. The last play in the college ball playoff against Michigan. What the hell was he thinking? That's honestly next level stupidity. I thought that was pretty impressive.
I don't think that was the call. Coach talked about that quite a bit. The snap was on the other side, and I think Jalen. I think
quarterback sneak 5 yards out. I
don't think that was the play call.
Hey, dude, I put up with his shit for years, and you know what? He sucks.
He sucks. Because he had the swing route there. If he would have handled the ball, he had the option. They said he had a swing route plus a run.
I think that Jalen panicked there, JJ. I think that the snap was skipped off the ground, had been bad snapping, and he abandoned the play. I think that it was a pass play.
I'll stick to the play call.
Fair enough, Coach. Fair enough. I think it was you that said that to me before.
I did.
That wasn't
did.
even it. So
I did.
I believe that. I don't know. I think Jalen Milroe is absolutely one of the better athletes and better quarterbacks in the country. I don't know if he's a top 10 guy or not. And with this offense, I think it's just a matter of where is he? What are they going to do? Is he going to be able to throw the ball like Kalen DeBoer wants to? And does he really have a good handle on the position? I don't know that he does.
I think he had a couple of videos come out recently just working on mechanics and whatnot at the Alabama facility.
But that's a tough thing to do, JJ. When you get under pressure, do you go back to your old ways?
Yeah. But that's the great thing about pressure, though. It creates diamonds, or or guess what? You're down the shitter real quick.
True that. Okay.
Hey, Coach,
It's either diamond or bursting pipes.
What's up?
Hey, out of the players on this list, we all know that Carson Beck is probably a quote, for lack of a better term, the best quarterback.
Yeah.
Who do you and Shoddy see in this list that could probably be a dark horse and really surprise everybody next year?
Man, I'll be honest. Like I say, Sanders is not far back for me. Because like I say, again, I watched both of them because I covered Colorado for a good 5-6 games, and it's just again, it's his holding the ball too much. You know what I'm saying? Things like that, and you got to know also where you put the ball. Like, and Shawty will tell you, like, sometimes if you watch Carson Beck, even if you're running, like, let's say you're running a post route, he may throw it on the back shoulder to turn you around to get you running the other way because he sees the defense coming.
That's smart.
Right.
Yeah.
And then whereas Shadur may just put it on you so you can catch it, get tackled. But like him, and if I had to pick somebody else, I'm going with Fafita from Arizona. I know I put Mississippi on there, but Fafita from Arizona, bro, like Fafita can play, dog. Like, I watched that bowl game. I watched a couple of games before that. Like, Fafita's a baller. And
the bowl game, he wasn't as good as he was earlier in the year, I think. But he
wasn't.
The thing is, McMillan is a stud. You don't really have to be great there. But he's got a good receiving core, and they're all pretty much staying. So
that's what I was about to say. It just depends on if his weapons perform like they did. It's like Fafita though. Like, if I had to pick somebody that nobody thinks is gonna be the best quarterback, possibly it'd have to be Fafita, because I think everybody else's name resonates more. I think Dylan Gabriel's name resonates, Quinn Ewers and Sanders and even Jackson Dart, and Milroe, for whoever believes it. But like, I think they think Fafita is good. I don't think they think Fafita is like top 3, but I think he is.
Yeah, I do too.
Mm-hmm. That's why I had him on this list, just because from watching him last year, I liked what he did. I thought he's just his playmaking ability and what he's able to do, and I think he does a great job. But I mean, to your point, Carson Beck's number 1. I think Kirby's done a good job, whether it was Todd Monken or Mike Bobo there now. Obviously, Bobo, man, he's done a hell of a job taking over for Monken. But I think Beck's got a really big season upcoming in terms of what they could do for the national title. But man, Fafita, dude, if he's able to do what he does and build off that, damn, he could be a damn good quarterback.
Yeah, all these quarterbacks have stuff to work on though. Like Carson Beck has to work on his timing with his receivers on deep routes. On deep routes, like, he has the cannon to do it.
That's what I was going to ask you. Is I felt like there were some times that you saw him a little late.
Right, either a little late, and then after being a little late, a couple of times he'd overthrow. You know what I'm saying? Now, some of those was the receiver's fault, but most of those were Carson Beck, and he needs to get that down. And even Aaron Murray said, I feel like Carson Beck is a taller version of Aaron Murray. The only difference is Aaron Murray was super accurate downfield, whereas Carson Beck needs to work on that. So,
and he has to work on his internal clock. He has to be a little bit more trusting of his internal clock, meaning he doesn't, he can speed up without it needing to be speed up. If he get touched or he feel pressure early in the game, it's very easy for him to start throwing balls a lot sooner than he really have to.
Right, which is
Right.
what I was saying about like how Sanders holds it. Like that's why I'm not up. Like to Shawty's point, sometimes to his detriment. But Carson Beck is not going to hold the ball. Like that's not. He's not into none of that. Like
Yeah,
Which
he
is
did.
good.
Wait,
That's good. And he completed almost 73% of his passes, So
Right.
he 24 and only 24 touchdowns, but just 6 interceptions too. What I would say about Shedeur Sanders is for them, being as he completed, it was just under 70%, and he only had 3 interceptions all year.
yeah.
So,
I
as
think if
far
you
as
look
his
at some of these
decision
guys,
making-
that's right.
his decision making, I have a hard time saying too much about his decision making whenever whenever he only threw 3 picks all year.
Well, that's-
He can't take his sack all the time either. I get that part.
he having some bad coaching. Like, I don't even want to say it's bad coaching. I'm gonna say the lack thereof coaching, because you don't let a player continue to just do what he do, ad lib and trying to get out of the pocket when there's nothing there to do without changing the play calling or coaching him up better. Like, you got to tell him to throw the ball away. We need you in the game. That's why he got hurt.
Well, I think
Right.
there was a lot of differing orders coming to them. I mean, obviously they ended up going with a different play caller at the end of the year. I think he was hearing one thing out of Coach Prime and another thing out of the offensive coordinator.
Sean
You know
Lewis.
what I mean?
Yeah, he took
Yeah,
taking
Sean
the job at
Lewis
San Diego
and-
State.
And Sean's been a hell of a offensive
he's a good
guy.
coach.
So I tend to think that they just weren't on the same page for sure. I'm not necessarily blaming it on Coach Prime either. I'm just saying something wasn't right there.
Yeah.
They were definitely butting heads when it came to that. JJ, I know we got to let you go. Tell everybody how to find you real quick. We're all on our way out of here too, so we can't keep it as long as we have been. Go ahead.
Yeah, again, Jason, you're the best. This show's the best. Obviously, it's the Fan Addict. The Sports Network is the best. Obviously, Coach I and Shotty. Again, guys, appreciate coming on here. Love talking to college football. It's the best. That's why I love coming on here. Very few shows that I go on. You guys are always the best. You can find me on YouTube at Talking College Football with JJ Kitchen, or you can follow me on Twitter at JJ_Kitchen40. Guys, it's always a pleasure. The show is always fun. The people that are putting in comments and questions, the viewers, it's always great to see and hear different thoughts. This show is one of the best. That's why there's always great people on here, and you see so many great opinions. Just hella good people. Just continue to support the show and support the people that go on here. Just great people. We're lucky to be on here. The show's fun to you guys.
Appreciate you, brother.
Tailgating with JJ Kitchens coming to a city near you.
Yeah, it's nice meeting you, JJ, for the first time face to face, brother.
Yes, sir. Again, it was always good. It's always good jumping on here. And again, talking college football with JJ Kitchen. But let me tell you something. Hall of Fame College Football Podcast and the Fan Addict Sports Network. Get on it. Get with it. And guess what? Before I hop off here, don't be a hoe. Share the show. Remember that, kids. All right.
One of my favorite things.
Love you, brother.
Don't be a hoe. Share the show.
Love you too, Coach. Be good.
All right, JJ. Thanks for coming in, buddy. All right. JJ Kitchen from Talking College Football with JJ Kitchen. If you guys aren't already a subscriber to his channel, what the hell's wrong with you? Get over there and sign up. He's really close to 1,000 subscribers. Love to see him get over the mark sooner than later. All right. Now, somebody just asked this question. No Nico Iamaleava. He's number 11 on my list.
Yeah.
I like Nico. And
Need more film.
Huh?
He needs more film for me. Like I say, I think
He
he's
needs
good,
a little
but
more film too.
he's
But
not top 10 in the nation though.
No, I think that there's an opportunity for him to, with what we've seen out of Josh, when you got a guy that if there is some accuracy, you can expect him to probably do pretty well. I know that he's a dark horse Heisman guy for a lot of people. I think that he's a little young for that probably. I like him though. I think he's good. I think he's going to be good. We'll got to wait and see. I think we got to wait and see on some of these guys.
Yeah, all the younger guys for me is a wait and see, just like I said, because if we went by again, I think DJU is good, but I don't think he's as good as his first 2 games showed us. So it's like you gotta wait and kind of like, see it on out to see if it was just like 1 or 2 games or if he can do it a whole season. That's what I want to see.
Yeah. All right. Anything else you guys want to add, man?
No, I think that's going to be a battle to watch. You know what I'm saying? Jackson Arnold, Nico, Taylor Green. I would put him in that category just because he's not as experienced. And Lenore Sellers from South Carolina.
South Carolina, yeah.
All of those
I like
guys
him
got.
too, man. I like him
He's a
too.
he's a
Forgot
physical.
about him on my
He's
list,
a
but I
physical specimen too.
stud, right? He's a
Let's go.
stud.
Now, question again, another question: health and now he hasn't gotten hurt, but he's going to be running a lot, and running quarterbacks are injury prone, and what his receiver core is going to look like. So, gonna see.
Yep. Hey, I appreciate both of you guys coming in here, Coach I and Shawty. Tell everybody how to find you both before we get out of here.
Let me know, man. You can catch me on the Fanatic Sports Network like you always do, and also on 365 Combo YouTube with me, Shawty and Coach I, Sunday nights at 9:00, talking about. Hey, we talk about a lot. So y'all can check us out on either one of those.
Absolutely. Get out there and check that out. Shawty, tell us where to find you, brother.
Yeah, same thing. Coach just said on Fanatic Network. You see us on throughout the season on Tuesday nights. And me and Coach, I have ventured off to another segment at 365 where we're pretty much just real talk, man, having some serious combo about some serious conversation, actually with some very intelligent people. So it's good to, chop it up, iron sharpens iron. And then if you just want to get with the shit, talk the shit, get with me with just my damn opinion on Wednesday nights at 9:30. Appreciate the platform, Jason, man. You can't invite me on, man. You know I take things off the rails, brother.
Oh, man, I don't care. Hey, but you know that I'm going to come back and put it right back on the rails and tell you how I feel about it too. So, it is what it is. It is what it is. No, man, we appreciate you guys coming on. Definitely. Thanks a lot for coming on. And now to Mike the Legend. Tell everybody how to find you, Legend.
You can find me on YouTube at Sooner Legends Podcast, where I've got some new stuff, but my forte is the history of OU football. You can also find me on Twitter at Okie Cowboy 1969. And if any of y'all have any requests for anything concerning the history of OU football, contact me and I'll put a video out. I do take requests.
Cool deal.
Shout out to the success of your new podcast at Sooner Legends, man. I see you got the production working going on, man. Way to get into it, man.
Thank you, Shawty. Jason helped me with the branding and helped me with my intro video, and the background that you see is now that I've got a computer, I can do virtual backgrounds now where I'm in a separate bedroom where it's stacked asshole to appetite. So I can cut that crap out. And Shawty, I appreciate everything you and Coach I do. Guys, y'all mean the world to me.
Hey, man, thanks a lot for always coming in. We appreciate all these guys coming in. Coach, anything to leave on with? What else you got?
I do. I'm like you guys. I appreciate everybody on here and the great conversations that we have. And everybody just brings so much to the table, and I enjoy that. I hate, and I hate doing shit like we did tonight, talking about who we think is going to be the top 10, and old Coach, he doesn't like doing all that shit. I just like to line up and let's go hit a damn lick and figure out who the hell really is the best one. But
that's right.
But
you can agree with
but I know it's fun to talk about. And the last thing I want to end on is I just want to give a kudos shout out to our Notre Dame women's basketball team for winning the ACC conference championship with 6 players.
Respect.
Respect.
All right, guys. Well, thanks a lot, everybody, for coming in. Make sure that you hit that like button on your way out if you didn't do that already when you came in. But hey, we definitely appreciate all of our guests for joining us tonight. Hey, man, it's it's part of the fun is speculating about who's going to be the best and whatever. I mean, it is what it is. We're gonna talk that shit either way. And then, of course, anytime that we start talking about paying players and shit, you're gonna get Shawty wound up. So some kind of energy going on in the house. So no, we appreciate all you guys showing up with us. We've had a lot of viewers in here tonight. We appreciate that. We're still up over 130 people in here right now. So,
and you know what, Jason?
What's up?
Real, I apologize to interrupt. I apologize. I just really be truly coming from a players only perspective. I'm not really coming from a totality standpoint. I just be coming from a players only perspective.
Hey, we love you, man, and I love I agree with you wholeheartedly on most of it. So I mean, I don't think we're on opposite sides of the fence here. I don't. So I enjoyed having the conversation, or else I wouldn't have brought it up. So that's just how it is. But no, we appreciate everybody being here, coming in and chopping it up with us just a little bit, talking some college football. We will see you for No Cap SEC on Thursday, 9:30 Eastern time. Make sure you catch us out here then. And other than that, we will see you on the next one.
And Jason, thank you for everything.
Yeah, and Coach, it was a pleasure meeting you tonight, sir.
Likewise, my brother.